Imagine this. You wake up to your alarm, the same one you've used for years. You scroll through news headlines that make your chest tighten, commute the same route to a job that drains you, and spend your evenings numbing the discomfort with distractions you don't even enjoy. This isn't life. This is programmed suffering. A carefully engineered cycle that convinces you this is simply how things are. But here's the unsettling truth. You are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because you've been handed a script to follow, one designed to keep you exhausted, distracted, and just fulfilled enough not to question it. The paradox of the good life, modern society, operates on a cruel contradiction. It glorifies hustle culture while pathologizing burnout. It sells self-care as consumerism rather than actual care. It demands individualism while punishing those who deviate from the norm. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something truly spontaneous? How many of your choices are just pre-approved options? What parts of your personality have you abandoned to fit in? We call this adulthood, but it's closer to voluntary imprisonment. The invisible curriculum from childhood you were taught. 2. Trade time for money, the 9-to-5 paradigm. To seek external validation, grades, promotions, likes, to fear uncertainty, instead of embracing it as freedom. These aren't natural laws, they're social constructs, reinforced by architecture, cubicles, suburbs, shopping malls, rituals, commutes, meetings, debt payments, language, real job, settling down, success. The comfortable illusion society offers two poisoned gifts: the myth of meritocracy, work hard and you'll be happy; the theater of choice, you're free to pick any flavor of conformity. Meanwhile, the average person spends 4.3 years of their life in unnecessary meetings. 67% of workers are disengaged from their jobs. For adults. Take psychiatric medication. This isn't personal failure, it's systemic design. The unasked question: what if your depression isn't a chemical imbalance, but a rational response to an irrational world? What if anxiety isn't a disorder, but your body's way of screaming, this life doesn't fit you? Because this isn't about lazy individuals or bad luck. It's about something far older, a human vulnerability that systems have exploited for centuries. The system didn't create your suffering from scratch. It weaponized pre-existing human vulnerabilities. To understand how, we must descend into the shadowy intersection of psychology, philosophy, and social engineering. The evolutionary mismatch our brains developed for immediate threats, saber-toothed tigers, tight-knit tribes, 150-person communities; physical labor, 10 to 20 kilometer daily movement. Modern society exploits this outdated wiring: chronic stress from abstract threats, bills, social comparison, tribal instincts hijacked by brands, ideologies, sedentary captivity that starves our bodies of natural stress. Relief result? A species perpetually stuck in fight-or-flight mode, drowning in cortisol while sitting at desks. The Huxleyan seduction. Aldous Huxley predicted our predicament. People will come to love their oppression, to adore the technologies that undo their capacities to think. Today's oppression wears velvet gloves. Dopamine drip from likes and notifications, illusion of rebellion through consumer choices, iPhone versus Android. Spiritual pacification via productivity cults and wellness industries. We've been conditioned to crave our own domestication. The Nietzschean slave morality. Friedrich Nietzsche warned how societal values invert natural hierarchies. Virtues become vices: ambition, greed, rest, laziness. Vices become virtues: blind obedience, team, player. Mediocrity gets sanctified while genius gets pathologized. This moral alchemy transforms potential into quiet desperation. The Jungian shadow of progress, Carl Jung's collective shadow, manifests in workaholism as socially acceptable. Self-harm, political polarization as displaced spiritual yearning, consumption addictions filling the God-shaped hole. What we call civilization is often just institutionalized neurosis. The Frankl vacuum. Viktor Frankl's concentration camp observations reveal humans can endure anyhow if they have a why. Modern society systematically destroys why through hyperspecialization, disconnection from work's impact, digital overload, erosion of contemplative space. Commercialized meaning, spirituality, as self-help product. This psychological hijacking has already altered human biology and reshaped civilization, and the most devastating impacts are hiding in plain sight. You tell yourself you're just living life, but while you've been distracted, something far more sinister has been unfolding, not just in your psyche, but in the collective nervous system of our species. The neurological rewiring brain. Scans reveal prefrontal cortex atrophy from decision fatigue, too many trivial choices, dopamine receptor damage from notification addiction, amygdala enlargement in urban dwellers, constant low-grade threat detection. We're evolving into a new neurotype, Homo distractors, smart enough to operate technology, but too fragmented to think deeply. The social fabric tier pre-digital societies had third places, pubs, churches, parks, for organic connection, rites of passage marking psychological transitions, shared hardship creating communal bonds, modern replacements, algorithmic echo chambers, digital tribes that hate each other, consumer adulthood, your first credit card as initiation, solo suffering, mental health crises endured alone. Moot. The existential displacement. New pathologies emerge. Pre-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety about future catastrophes, nostalgia for the present, FOMO for your own unlived life, digital disassociation, feeling more real online than offline. These aren't personal failings, they're logical responses to an illogical world. 4. The productivity paradox. Despite labor-saving technology, work hours increased 15% since 1980, leisure time decreased 32%, actual productivity per capita flatlined. We've been trapped in a bullshit jobs arms race, where busyness masquerades as purpose. The spiritual bankruptcy. The ultimate cost isn't measurable in hours or dollars. 72% of people report existential numbness, religious attendance down 40%. Since 1999, artistic output per capita declined. 60% in 20 years. We haven't just lost our way. We've lost the capacity to wonder if we're lost. But there's a way out. One that doesn't require burning down cities or retreating to caves. The escape begins with understanding your suffering isn't accidental, it's by design. How to break free. The system wants you to believe you have two choices. Complete assimilation, keep following the script. Useless defiance, rage against machines that don't care. But there's a third path, one that doesn't fight the system, so much as render it irrelevant. The attention audit. Your focus is the most colonized territory. For 1 week, track every involuntary attention shift, notifications, ads, autoplay, label each hijack. Fear, loneliness, boredom. Reclaim 10 stolen minutes daily for deliberate stillness. This isn't mindfulness, it's psychological counter-surveillance. The value detox. Society's toxic values infect through language viruses, real job, settling, down, wasting time, status hallucinations, luxury brands as achievement, time distortions, busy as virtue antidote. Rewrite your dictionary, e.g., what if productive meant alive rather than occupied? Conduct funeral rituals for dead aspirations, Burn old resumes, bury trophies. The unlearning curriculum reclaim. What schools erased. Body wisdom, somatic awareness over productivity metrics. Shadow integration, rage, grief as intelligence, not disorders. Idleness literacy, non-doing as evolutionary necessity. Daily practice. Spend 20 minutes doing something with no measurable outcome. The anti-career most jobs are psychological Stockholm syndrome. Ask, does this work expand or diminish my humanity? What childhood wound does my career prove wrong? How would I spend my days if prestige didn't exist? Radical option, calculate your true hourly wage, salary minus commute, stress, wardrobe, then divide by soul depletion. The tribal reset, we're dying from connection malnutrition. Build analog sanctuaries, no phones, no transactions. Skill-sharing collectives, bypass commercialized learning. Rites of passage, mark growth beyond birthdays. Warning, this will feel weird at first. That's your reprogramming kicking in. These tactics work, but only if you confront the ultimate truth about why society fights so hard to keep you distracted. The final revelation isn't about oppression, it's about invitation. Here's the secret your suffering was trying to teach you. Society doesn't enslave you by force. It seduces you with counterfeit meaning. This changes everything. The initiation you've been avoiding, ancient cultures understood. Suffering precedes transformation, hero's journey, dark night of the soul. Disorientation breaks conditioning, vision quests, pilgrimages, ritual containers, pain versus modern isolation. Your depression, anxiety, burnout, potential initiatory crises, corrupted by a system that pathologizes spiritual growth. The Nietzschean upgrade, Nietzsche's will to power, manifests as creative destruction of outlived identities, amor fati, love of fate, for all experiences, self-overcoming. As life's true purpose, modern translation. Your suffering isn't proof of failure, it's evidence of unfilled potential. 3. The final choice tonight, perform this reality test. List 3 societal shoulds you still obey for each. Ask, who would I be without this story? Notice where your body expands, truth versus contracts, conditioning. The answers may terrify you. That's how you know they're real. Society's program is failing not because it's too strong, but because your soul is stronger. The exhaustion, the restlessness, the inexplicable grief, these aren't symptoms of breakdown. They're labor pains. You're not being broken, you're being born.